These vintage photos transport us to the sun-drenched beaches and towering waves of the 1960s and 1970s, capturing a time when surf culture was more than just a sport, it was a way of life. From California's iconic coastline to the shores of Australia and New Zealand, surfing wasn't just about catching waves. It embodied an attitude, a fashion statement, and became the soundtrack to a generation in search of freedom. Surf fever took hold of America in the 1960s, weaving its influence into music, art, and style. California, in particular, emerged as the heart of the movement, where sun-bleached hair, board shorts, and the unmistakable beats of surf rock created an unmistakable identity. But the roots of surfing stretch much deeper. Hawaiian pioneers George Freeth and Duke Kahanamoku had already introduced the excitement of wave riding to the US in the early 1900s, captivating crowds with their exhibitions along California's coast. What was once a niche activity for a dedicated few morphed into a cultural phenomenon by the mid-20th century. Though some initially dismissed surfers as carefree beach bums, that perception quickly faded as the era's counterculture embraced the easygoing yet rebellious spirit of the surf scene. Surfing first arrived in the US in 1885 when three Hawaiian princes, David Kauananakua, Edward Keli'iahonui, and Jonah Kuhio Kalaniana Ole, took to the waves at the mouth of the San Lorenzo River in Santa Cruz. Using custom-shaped redwood boards, they introduced California to a sport central to Hawaiian culture for centuries. A few decades later, in 1907, George Freeth showcased his surfing skills at Venice Beach as part of a publicity stunt for Abbot Kinney's Venice of America resort, further cementing the sport's West Coast appeal. While California was the epicenter of surfing's early days, the East Coast also had its own pioneers. In 1909, Burke Hayward Bridges introduced the sport to Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. Struggling initially with lightweight juniper boards, Bridges sought guidance from Hawaiian newspapers and surf enthusiasts to refine his techniques and board designs. His determination spread the sport along the Atlantic coast. Meanwhile, Duke Kahanamoku, often hailed as the father of modern surfing, brought his wave-riding prowess to Rockaway Beach in 1912, while en route to the Stockholm Olympic Games, introducing the sport to New York's urban population. Surfing's popularity exploded in the post-World War II era, fueled by the booming economy and the rise of the middle class. By the 1950s, beach culture thrived as Americans increasingly sought leisure by the ocean. What had once been a niche activity blossomed into a cultural movement, influencing everything from music and fashion to literature and film. Hollywood played a significant role in this transformation, particularly with the 1959 release of Gidget, which romanticized the surf lifestyle and ignited a wave of new enthusiasts. By the 1960s, surfing had deeply embedded itself in American youth culture, becoming synonymous with iconic imagery: woody station wagons, bikinis, board shorts, and the rise of surf music, epitomized by the Beach Boys' hit Surfin' Safari in 1962. The sport's growing influence also spurred the rise of major surf brands, which became cornerstones of the culture. In California, Jack O'Neill founded O'Neill in 1952, revolutionizing wetsuit technology. Other companies followed suit, including Vans in 1966, Channel Island surfboards in 1969, and Deckin in 1979, becoming synonymous with surf culture and performance gear. However, as surfing's popularity soared, so did territorial disputes. In areas with crowded beaches and prized surf breaks, local surfers began staking claim to their home beaches, leading to tensions and the rise of informal surf gangs determined to protect their spots from the influx of seasonal tourists. This rivalry became an undercurrent within the otherwise laid-back surf culture.